absence does not mean that they are not present. Welcome back to Eintlek and Tricia, thanks for joining us.
Thank you.
We often talk about absent fathers, right? But let's be honest, there's a group of men or men who are in the house every day still not showing up as fathers. So what is present about them?
That's physical presence, right, Penny? And normally we'd have the situation where the dad is physically in the building and in the home, but he's distracted either with a laptop or working on the cell phone. And when this happens, the child is looking at this and seeing that my dad is actually not paying attention to me, and I'm not feeling like I'm being seen. Children want to be seen and heard, and attachment research shows us that you might be there physically, but if you're not there connecting with your child, paying attention to those moments, then you might as well be absent.
Yeah. Well, some of them, yes, are feeling physically in the home because they sleep there, they eat there, and they just pay for the bills. But they also feel like in modern day, the word father has just gotten extra, and there's more demands. Is that the case?
Yes. In our spaces at TM Counseling, our counseling spaces, we really see that the challenges today's fathers face is the growing demands of a modern society. It's very different to the model and framework we had for traditionally valued parenting. And so their frame of reference is narrowed. And so now there's this world that is the children are exposed to massive information. And what do we need? We actually need the primary caregivers, whether it's mother, father, both, to solidify their values. And that means that the dads, in this case, need to step up and into that role and find out more about what they can actually do to safeguard what their children are exposed to in modern day society.
So we also have an interesting one that's happening because we know we have a high number of single-headed homes where most of the children, the caregiver is the mother. But we're seeing a lot of active fathers who are showing up for school drop-offs. They're there for plays. They're attending soccer and whatever games that are happening. And that is also an interesting aspect of what's happening. How do we define this present father that's not physically at home?
So if the father is working away in another country or they are separated, you can still connect with your child. That doesn't involve proximity, but it actually involves the intentional mindset. How do I want to show up for my child when I can't physically be there? So important moments can be calendared, and he can attend a game or a match. He can send voice notes if he can't physically be present, video calls, WhatsApping the child. There's many ways to stay connected, and the dads or the fathers need to be aware of what's their capacity and how they can actually connect with their child, even though they're not physically present.
Okay. Well, we do have some voice notes which we're going to go to as well. But maybe before we get to that, let's talk about why there's such an emphasis for the father to be present. And it's not a matter of them living in the same house, and how it shapes, identity of a child. What are we talking about psychologically?
So from our attachment research in psychology, it's very clear that what comes out is, and not taking anything away from moms, because moms do this and they can also do everything, but they don't necessarily have to do everything. A father plays a distinct role in shaping the identity of a child by setting boundaries and increasing their confidence levels, helping the child stay emotionally regulated. And that comes from the rough and tumble play that dads, we find in research, normally engage in with their children. They take risk a little further than the emotional base that a mum normally has with the child. And this risk-taking in that safe space with dad increases their self-confidence and increases their level of understanding in a social setting, what's risk, what's not risk. The child grows with a very strong sense of self-concept.
Okay. So if we strip away everything back, okay, the titles, the roles, even the living arrangements, what are the core behaviors that actually make someone a good present father in 2026?
Oh, such a stunning question. Thank you. It is the dad understanding his role as what do I want for my child right now? Mostly the fathers tell us in our sessions, it's the self-leadership, autonomy. And so you model the behavior. How do you want your child to look? you model that and you bring that into that space. So intentional moments. So I'm going to have my laptop here, but as soon as my child enters, my eyes light up and I see the child. So children understand this. They measure connection, not proximity or time. And so that level of connection, that's what the child is seeking and needing. So it's emotional nurturing.
And there's just this curiosity that they come with, because the minute they walk in, if you lift your head up and you chat to them, they'll be like, Daddy, you're working in this, and then 2 seconds, they're gone.
Correct.
Like literally.
It's snapshot moments.
Moments.
Yes,
Yeah. But they will remember how I used to see my dad working on the computer, and then I had this question, and you're like, okay, what did you guys discuss? No one remembers.
Yes, we don't want that.
Yeah, let's take some of your voice notes and hear what you guys have got to say.
Hi, Eintlek, let's connect. It's Mandy from Kelvin. I grew up without a father, and now that I have a child of my own, I'm constantly questioning what a good father actually looks like. How do I break that cycle when you didn't have an example? Thank you.
And that's something that a lot of people are facing out there.
Yes, and you only know what you know, so you don't know what you don't know.
Yeah.
So be kind to yourself. Your frame of reference has been your primary caregiver, which means an absent father, and I'm sure your mum would have done the very best she could with what she had. What you can do, because of 2026, is find a trusted role model, a male role model, either in the family, in the community, at school. It could be a coach, it could be a teacher, and trying to see whether that male role model can actually help connect with your child. Because that level of the values with males, a child will learn masculinity and what it means in a healthy setting from the male role model.
Okay, so when we spoke about that, if we will wait for another voice note. When we spoke about the whole identity thing, with a father, this always a conversation. Does it affect girls versus boys differently? Can you just address that for us?
Not primarily. So both, it's the girls will take away their sense of self-worth and security, same like the boys. The boys will understand the distinct factor there, or the difference would lie in the boys understanding what it means to be a man in today's society, and how to have healthy relationships. That's both girls and boys, and boundaries and values. But most importantly, I think the distinction there would be the male versus female role. So the girl would know, okay, this is what the standard of a man would be when I'm choosing my life partner. And then the boy would understand how he needs to behave in healthy masculine roles, especially in today's society.
Okay, so we'll take another voice note. Eintlek, let's connect, let's hear.
Hi guys, my partner lives with us and is a great provider, but he's not emotionally involved with our kids. Conversations, no bonding time. How do you even begin that conversation without it turning into conflict? Thanks guys, great connecting on this one.
Thank you. The first thing would be to get your mindset right. What is it that you wish for this process to look like, and what outcome you want? So if you want your partner to start engaging in a more nurturing role and not just a provider role, then you would go in with, this is not an attack. So you want a conversation, you want a curiosity. I'm wondering what our roles are in our home. Can you explain what you think the expectation is? And then you gently deliver that. So not in an angry manner, because walls are going to go up and he's going to be defensive. It's more an exploratory, very exploring and wondering and being curious. And if you find that that's difficult, then I would highly recommend you seek out professional support, and we can help navigate that space safely for both of you and the family.
Yeah, great stuff. I mean, I would like us one day to explore. A lot of fathers struggle exactly with that, where they feel like they haven't seen a good example of a father for themselves, so they don't know what to do in that role. Doc, thank you so much for coming through and chatting to us this afternoon.
My pleasure,
well, such an important conversation. I think what stands out is that fatherhood today is less about proximity and more about presence, consistency, and intention. What does a present father look like to you? We're closing out the show next, and of course, when we come back, we'll be listening to some of your voice. We've had some of your voice notes, rather. Please do send us your WhatsApp messages, because we'd like to hear from you as we continue after the break. Thanks.